I get eager staring at the endless list of portable power stations and wondering if any of them are actually worth the hype. You've probably already worried about spending a few $100s on something that will sit in a corner, gathering dust, while the real emergencies you've imagined never happen. And if you do end up needing a backup for a weekend camping trip, a power outage, or a home office that just can't afford to go dark, you need to be sure the unit you choose won't leave you stranded. So before I dive into the nitty-gritty, let me point out that the link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. That way you can compare specs side by side while you listen. Now, let's talk about the Jackery Solar Generator 5000 Plus. This isn't just another big battery you see on retail shelves. It's marketed as a 5040WH LiFePO 4 power station with a 7200W AC output that can run big appliances and keep a home running for up to 13 days on a full charge. Those numbers sound impressive, but the real question is what they mean for a typical user who isn't a professional electrician or a full-time off-grid enthusiast. First, who actually benefits from a unit this size? If you own a small to medium cabin that you visit a few times a year, your power needs are likely limited to a refrigerator, some lights, a TV, and maybe a laptop. In that scenario, a 500WH or even 1000WH unit would probably cover you comfortably for a weekend. The 5000WH model, on the other hand, starts to make sense when you're looking at whole home backup or you regularly run high-draw devices, think electric kettles, power tools, or a small heater without a generator. Families that live in areas with frequent, multi-day outages, or people who run a remote workshop where a diesel generator would be noisy and messy, will see the value more clearly. If you're a weekend camper who only needs to charge phones and run a portable fan, this is likely overkill and just a heavier, pricier solution. The practical strengths of the Jackery 5000 Plus become evident when you picture a real-world outage. Let's say a storm knocks out the grid for a couple of days. With the unit's smart transfer switch, you can connect it directly to your home's essential circuits, lights, the fridge, maybe a small furnace, so the transfer is automatic and you don't have to keep manually swapping plugs. That's a real convenience compared with the plug-and-play approach of smaller units, where you'd be juggling extension cords and hoping you didn't miss a critical outlet. The built-in LiFePO 4 cells, paired with Charge Shield 2.0 technology, promise a long cycle life, meaning you can recharge this thing hundreds of times without the capacity dropping dramatically. For someone who intends to keep the generator in the garage as a standby power source, that durability translates into a lower total cost of ownership over the years. Another key point is the solar capability. The package includes two 500W solar panels and a smart transfer switch that can manage the input automatically, shifting between solar and AC charging as needed. If you have a decent roof space or a sunny campsite, you could theoretically replenish a significant chunk of the 5040WH battery in a single sunny day. That's where the more power from the sun claim feels less like marketing fluff and more like an actual use case. A small off-grid cabin that gets daily solar exposure could stay almost self-sufficient, reducing reliance on diesel or gasoline generators. The panels themselves are fairly robust, but they do add bulk. Each panel is about the size of a large textbook, so you'll need a vehicle or a sturdy cart to move them around. Now, let's look at the hidden trade-offs. First, size and weight. At over 130 pounds, the unit is not something you can easily toss into the trunk of a compact car. Even with the two 500W panels, you're looking at a total package that's more than 200 pounds. This means you'll likely need a pickup or an SUV to transport it, which narrows the audience to those who already have the necessary vehicle. The portable label feels a bit stretched for people who only need a backup for an indoor office. Secondly, the cost. You're not just paying for the battery, you're also buying the solar panels, the transfer switch, and the built-in inverter that can handle 7200W peaks. If you already have a smaller power station and a separate solar array, you might actually spend less buying a modular system tailored to your exact needs. The price point makes sense only if you're counting on the ability to run several high-draw appliances simultaneously, like a refrigerator, a microwave, and a small heater, without tripping the inverter. From the perspective of everyday usability, the unit's interface is straightforward. A digital LCD shows you the current input, output, and remaining capacity, which is handy when you're trying to balance solar input against load. The smart transfer switch does need a one-time setup with your home circuit.